I'd be like that this summer.
All right, it's 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call of officers, Gary Huff, there. Chris Wood, here. Stacy Van Diver is here. Christy Cannon here. And Jeff August. Present. And we have Tiffany and Heather representing Deer County. Do you have the old meeting minutes?
So these are April's, one mom did, 1 year did, and here is May's.
And we have nobody here from the fire department, so we'll do fire department report. Mike, you want to do the utility report while Jerry's finishing up the minutes?
We had a couple lift station pump issues, and since they have been corrected, BBC Pump Company come out and corrected the problems we had, so we're back in service with those. We also received a new pump that was ordered for Cemetery Road. It's brand new, one to replace in case we lose one. I think the previous one had gotten destroyed from maybe the sand and stuff in the lines. And so we have a new one back up, ready for that if needed in the maintenance building. Also talked with BBC, and they said that some of our lift station panels for our pumps are really outdated and probably hard to get a lot of parts for those now. And it'd probably be in our interest to kind of discuss about maybe grant money or something for some new panels for the lift stations. There's 7 of them, and the main lift station, I think it's been replaced within maybe the last couple of years, but the rest of them need updating. So that may be something to take into consideration. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. I guess I'll make a motion to accept the previous meeting's minutes.
I second.
All in favor? Accept those minutes. Ordinance force report is not here. The old business, hiring of Deer Accounting for financials. You guys are just have under the new business, right, for the new quotes. You don't have anything under the old business? Okay. And then we have a request for the Putnam County Building and Planning and Zoning. This is something they've been trying to talk the town into for quite a while. We've been kind of kicking it around, but coming back into it. They sent a letter to the Jeff about.
The state sent us a letter,
Yeah.
telling us that we were required by statute to have building inspections, and we're not having building inspections. We're required to inspect the state code. So yeah, I received that letter, I passed it on, and so you guys have to discuss whether you want to, what do you want to do about
And I've talked to Lisa Steiner at the county. And she's provided us with paperwork about what we can do and what we can't do. What we can sign up for at no cost and what we would have to sign up for and pay to modify it. It's looking $8,300 is what they're running for a plan that we would modify. If we adopt the planning as they have it wrote, it would be at no cost. And the Unified Development Ordinance, if we adopt it at their plan, it would be at no cost. So I think right now what we're looking at is we're probably not gonna have much of a choice here in the future, because the state's gonna come down on it, and I think we need it. So that's something we're really gonna have to dig into to see. From what I've talked to Lisa, if we adopt and use the county zoning, it would still be the responsibility of the town council to accept their recommendations, from what I understood. They would recommend what we should do, but it would still be up to the town, so it's not like the county's gonna come in and say, this is what you're gonna do, whether you wanna do it or not, so. I guess for now, I'll see if I can get some more information from Lisa before the next meeting. But just want to get that on the board, that this is definitely something that's going to be coming up, that is going to have to be addressed here probably real short from the directions it's coming from. All right, that's it for the old business. The new business, we have Kristen Query for the Liberty Industries compliance. I know we talked on the phone.
We did.
Jeff has the paperwork. I think he was just gonna kind of glance over it to make sure everything is the numbers that fit.
Super. So I'll kind of explain to you what this is. So anytime an existing industry puts into service new capital investment, they pay taxes on that. So Liberty's been an existing company for a long time, but over this period of a few years, they put new capital investment into their facility. And so in the past, they worked through me, and we have come to the prior town boards and asked for tax abatement. What that means is the first year they don't pay anything in taxes on the new equipment. You can never abate something that's already been on the tax rolls. This is just new. And so we did that in 2021, 22, and 24. So prior town councils approved those. But in order to remain in good standing, they have to fill out paperwork annually, file it with the auditor and assessor's office. And then through me, I come and ask the governing authority. I show you the information, and then I ask that you approve them to remain in compliance so that they continue to receive that tax abatement. So tax abatement is usually for 10 years, straight line, 98, 70, 60, 50. So, and that is what we requested and then approved for every time with Liberty. So I am just asking that that you consider approving that again this year. I just kind of want to point out that in 2025, which is last year, they had for salaries, for employees, they had 67 employees. And this year they have 81 employees. So what we do in tax abatement compliance is we look at what they said they were going to do in their statement of benefits. And then their statement of benefits, they said they were going to continue to raise the employment number by 1 or 2. They far exceeded that. They said that they were going to do their capital investment, and they far exceeded that. So they have done what they promised to do through the statement of benefits when we approved abatement and the last 4 times. So I'm just here to report to you that they are in compliance. And so I'm just asking, after Jeff has taken a look at all that, that you would consider approving them for the compliance factor and signing the resolution that says that they are in compliance for the continuation of their tax abatement.
Okay. And when is the deadline for this? So when does this have to be signed? Because this will probably have to be tabled till next month.
Well, we
Give
can't.
Jeff time to approve, check it.
Well, the problem is if you deny them abatement, there's 45 days from the filing period, which is May 15th, in order to notify them. So that's why we get that on the agenda, the first thing after May 15th. So the 45 days is going to be expired. So then we'll be out of compliance with the Indiana code. So that's why we come before you the first meeting after they submit for the compliance.
If they didn't involve, right, we could have a special meeting, we had to.
You said it was May 15th?
May 15th is the filing date, and there's 45 days after that.
So roughly July 1st.
Within 45 days after the receipt of this form, the designating body may determine whether or not the property owner has substantially complied with the statement of benefits.
When did we receive the form?
So it was submitted to the auditor and assessor on May 15th. And if the property owner is found not to be in substantial compliance, the designating body shall send the property owner a written notice. The notice must include the reasons for the determination, including the date, time, and place of the hearing to be conducted by the designated body. If the notice is mailed to a property owner, a copy of the written notice will be sent to the county assessor and county auditor. The designating body determines that the property owner has not made a reasonable effort to comply. The designating body shall adopt a resolution terminating the deduction.
So the 45-day limit will be
For you guys to,
July 1st.
yeah, to
Roughly.
determine, and then we notify the button so that we have time to notify them.
So that'll give Jim time to, their next couple days go through. And then he can advise us. Like you said, we'll have a special meeting to,
Vote up or down?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so tabling it, no activity tonight, and then you'll be in touch with me on next steps.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Kristen, you'll be in touch with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
The second item on the new business is the quotes for the new billing system.
Okay, so it's been kind of an ongoing conversation between meetings, but we haven't officially formally mentioned it here on the record. Since Deere Accounting started taking responsibility for the financials, we have had a couple challenges. The big one is that the existing software is called, it's the Keystone package. It is a desktop package. So what that means is it is installed on an actual device that nobody else can access unless you're sitting in front of that device. Yes. We found a way around that by literally taking this giant computer back and forth to our office.
And Kristen having to call when people are in front of her. And like today, I was in a meeting and couldn't answer her call. And so that person had to then wait on whatever it was they were wanting.
So it got us thinking, what is out there, we know that there are cloud solutions just because of some of the other client accounts that we have that also offer utilities. So we, Heather has led the way, but we have started gathering pricing and, what comes with the pricing, because it's more than just pricing. It's, which software integrates completely and automatically with our billing software, with Neptune. And which one will be accessible by multiple users. So there's several aspects that we had to take into consideration and that we're looking for. And so if you can pull up this sheet here, this looks like it's kind of a grid. There are 3 companies that we spent quite a bit of time researching. The one on the far left is called MuniLink.
Okay, so I spent about 2.5 hours on the demo with MuniLink. I spent countless other hours on the phone with Walt, who is our representative that I've been talking with, and great company, great customer service. They do integrate with Neptune, so Neptune actually bought MuniLink, so it's their parent company. So they will integrate with our Neptune 360 meter reading software, which is really cool. A customer portal, they offer that, so the town people can go on, they can create an account, they can pay their bill, they can set up for direct deposit, they can do auto pay, they can view what their bill is. I mean, everything we can do on our end and see, they can see on their end. So that's really neat too.
It's not something that existing software offers.
Yes, no, when we say it's on your desktop, it's literally just on our desktop. We can go in, we can see billing, and that's it. I mean, there's no extra perks with it. UniLink is going to bring over 3 years worth of prior customer history. So when they do the data conversion, we'll get the past 3 years of each person's billing history and payment history and all of that. It does offer a multi-user, so Kristen can have a username and password, Stacy can have a username and password, and then we can go from there and say, Kristen can only do this, this, and this. She can't make adjustments, she can't, blah, blah, blah. Rick can have a username and password, and he's gonna do delinquency, he can say who can do what. It's got unlimited users, so we can have as many users and usernames. Disaster recovery, so, we lose power, we lose the whole building, they've got us backed up. Unlimited support, so with UniLink, they don't use support tickets. So if you have an emergency or need something handled now, you give them a call, or an email or live chat, which they answer within minutes. And they did all this in front of me. He pulled up the live chat and live chatted customer support right in front of me, and they answered immediately back. So it was really neat demo. Free updates. So, when UniLink next year, they find something better to better their web process, we're not gonna pay for that. It's gonna be, we're not gonna pay because they're making their software better. It's user-friendly. It's like a wizard. If you guys know what I mean when I say a computer wizard, it's step by step. It walks you through every step of the billing process, everything. It's really neat looking system. Yes. Cloud-based, so it is true cloud-based, which is different than just regular cloud-based, I guess. This was a whole learning curve for me too. So they actually rent or whatever, they're from Amazon. So their servers and stuff are in Amazon warehouses. So if one goes down in California, you're gonna have about a 2-second outage before it hits the next one. So there will never, hardly ever be downtime. He told me the most in 14 years is 11 minutes that they've been down. CAS certification, so this is something that if we wanted to go to the postcards and save money on postage stamps for the bills, this is something that you have to have through USPS. And they don't charge anything for the CAS certification. QuickBooks online integration. As you know, we're working through switching everything from KeyFund to QuickBooks Online. So what this allows is we give them our general ledger numbers. And so when the payments come in to UniLink, it automatically goes into our software where we want it to be. So it's an easier process of pulling, like if you called and said, hey, we would have up-to-date minutes of what the income is for the town. Work orders, this was really neat. So you can set it up to where, let's say somebody needs Mike to come out and look at their house. Kristen can get on, set up a work order. Mike's gonna get a text message that's gonna walk him straight through that work order and tell him every step of the work order that needs to be done. He can take a picture, like if he needs to take a picture of a meter or something, he can take a picture, attach it right to that work order, and then Kristen's gonna see everything he's done, and she will have to approve that his work order is complete. That was really neat. Customer alert system, so I know the town right now uses Reach at $621 per year is the cost of Reach. Their customer alert system is a per use charge, and I'll go over that here in a little bit. So if you don't use it, you don't pay for it. And I want to say it was $3 to send out every 1,000 emails. 45 cents. I'll have to dig into it just a little bit more, but I got those numbers back here. For online payments, so in order for customers to pay online, just like now, we use PayGo, right? They would use a company called Paystar, and that's what will allow us, people can set up their auto pay, direct deposit, however they want to pay. And this is a nice thing for the customers because I like to set my utility bills up on auto pay. I don't, if it's an every month payment, and this will allow them to do that. The cost for the town on this is $35 a month, and the customer is $295. Whereas currently, with Keystone or with PayGov, it's a 3% charge to the customer. So it is actually saving the town the town people a little bit of money when they go online pay. And if they sign up through us for auto pay, there is no charge for that. Contract term for Unilink is year to year. Now, Keystone, if we don't decide tonight to go, we have to decide on Unilink tonight. If it's a no, it's a no, that's fine, but I have to turn in a contract by Monday, or to 5 o'clock tomorrow. They are guaranteeing that they will have us up and running by September 1st, so we don't have to pay Keystone again. Because Keystone is another $96 or $9,800.
94.85 is what your number is here.
Yep, that was for 24. It had gone up a little bit. I just didn't have full numbers for 25. They're guaranteeing that they're going to be done in time for our last bill. So our last bill goes out 8/20. We will go live just shortly after that. So their one-time setup fee is pretty significant, and the way that works is 30 days from the date the contract is signed, half is due. 30 days later, the other half is due. And then right 30 days, or right before we go live, the annual fee is due. So where it's a high one-time cost, their annual fee is quite low compared to even Keystone, what we've got right now. And so that's a little bit about Unilink. Like I said, I've been emailing with him. Their customer support is great.
Something I'd like to add too about the Unilink and Amston. When we did some research, it was interesting to us that we found that Keystone seems to be geared toward very, very large cities, to where Unilink is specifically specializes in small towns.
And Amston is more for just billing, of small municipalities, small and medium-sized municipalities.
What is the charge on this CAS certification that Keystone's charging us now? Do you know that number?
They don't charge us for it yet. If we wanted to do the postcards and we wanted to go that route, it is an additional charge. And so if you go through the little stack here, there is a Unilink utility billing justification analysis. Walt sent this over. It pretty much says the same thing that I just went over. I think the biggest thing for the town is going to be the e-billing. We can send emails out, which will save on postcards, or not just postcards, but stamps, letters. They can go onto their customer portal and choose to be e-billed. And so that's free for us, an unlimited amount of emails for free. They also do, I don't know, do we have backflow inspections or anything like that? No? Okay, so that's something they offer as well, but in their software. Let's see, I think pretty much went over everything in here. So back here on the next to last page is where it's going to tell you the notification system fees. So for every 1,000 emails you send out, it's $3. It's 45 cents per text message, and if you wanted to do a robocall per se, it's 6 cents per minute.
Now, is
So,
that per event or per number?
which one, the text?
Either one, the text or the phone call, if we was to, text anywhere from 10 people to 100 people.
I want to say it would be per phone call.
So per number.
Yeah. Per month, yeah, I think it would, I don't know. That's a question when we asked him, because he didn't, that was another question I had in my head. Per number or per instance?
Because I think now the reach system deals mainly with just text messages. I don't think it's really set up to maybe a few emails. I think it's just text, isn't it?
I think it's just texts.
The reach cost.
$6.21 a year. Whether you use it or not, you're paying for it. So this does give us an option. I mean, even some of our elderly clients that don't have the text messaging, this is a good option to be able to call them and give them, hey, boil order or whatever it may be, the high alert situations.
And is that 45 cents or 4.5 cents?
45 cents.
Oh, because you got a zero there, so. Oh,
Maybe it is,
It might be.
Maybe it is.
4.5 cents.
4.5, yes, it is, 4.5 cents per character, per
Each, well, that's what we don't have.
each 160 character message. So this one is per message.
Yeah, how many numbers?
Yes. He's really good at responding. And this is something, the notification system isn't something you have to decide to go with MuniLink tonight. This can be added later on down the road. This isn't just an add-on they offer. We can choose it or not next year if we wanted to. I will note that we have not paid Reach yet for their annual fee. I think it gets paid in September, August, September.
so with this having such a short decision time, and you guys have done all the research, I guess we would have to bow down to your expertise and ask you what your opinion of that would be.
Sounds like they like you.
Yeah, it does sound like Muni Lake is
There's a reason
a
we-
front runner,
We
but.
started with this one.
Right.
It hands down, in our opinion, it's MuniLink.
Okay.
The part that was hard for us to swallow was that one-time fee.
Yeah, that is pretty substantial,
Now, if you break that over to 30 years,
yeah.
we gotta pay it now,
Mhm.
but if we have MuniLink for 30 years, it comes down to $566 a year out of 30 years. So,
Yes. I ain't gonna live 30 years.
yeah, but somebody's gonna be billing for water in 30 years.
Probably they got it.
Could be, but this is a year-to-year contract too, so if something does happen, we don't have, at the end of the year, we don't have to sign a new contract. But Amston is a good source too, we actually use Amston. It's actually called Unify 360 now. We use that for another conservancy district that we bill for, and it's user-friendly. They're only gonna bring over a year's worth of customer history. They charge for the CAS certification if we wanted to go that way. They also have a customer alert system that is no charge, so it is built into the software. The customer does have to go on and sign up for it, right?
With the high.
Yes, they have the highest annual fee and it's a 5-year contract. The online payment, I know they use PSN, and I would like to tell you an amount, but they haven't got back with me yet. I know what we pay for our other one, and it's within reason. Their contract term is 5 years. They lowered their one-time setup fee. It was actually over double that. But because they don't have to come and train us. I already know Amston. So they lowered it down to a 2-hour training session, just because we don't deal with meter billing with our other conservancy, it's all flat rate. So it would be a little bit of training. But their annual fee is $9,600. And they are not they aren't looking at even being ready to start our integration until the end of August, beginning of September. So in there, we would have to pay for Keystone's software again for a year.
Well, I think that's a pretty good argument to go with Union League.
It's a 2-year payback on the setup fee, with MuniLink versus Keystone is like a little over 4 years on Amston. So if you're having it for 5 years or more, your money in.
But then you're locked into 5 years if you don't like it.
Well, Maryland looks the greatest thing that ever happened to
Yeah,
that.
Anston is a good company. It's user friendly. It offers all the same things. Unlimited users, we can tell which users are going to do what when they log in, what they can do, what they can't do.
They'll have to pay Keystone again.
Another $9.
We'll have to pay Keystone again, yeah.
So that's
That loses that.
big minus.
Yeah.
Again, MuniLink, because they are guaranteeing us, that's why that number is much higher. Because they're going to be having, instead of maybe 3 or 4 members integrating us, they're gonna have 30 members integrating us to get us ready.
Starting next week.
So, and we have promised them if this does go forward, we promised them our time. And so we are available to them all the time. I'm gonna be on vacation the end of June, and I've already got backups for who's gonna know what to do while I'm gone. So, that was a promise that we had to make to them before they would even send me over a quote. That they would have your accountant's time unlimited. But as far as that goes, if you decide MuniLink's a no, we do have some time for Amston, and Keystone is 13 months out. So we'd have to pay them 2 more times. And she wouldn't still be calling me in a year and a half, trying to get us customers.
And then we also don't know what the quote would be for that Amston for the town and the customer.
Well, for the town and the customer, it's pretty minimal, or for the customer, it's pretty minimal. I wanna say a $75 bill was $1 something charge. When I've done it, I've taken payments over the phone a couple times. I wanna say for a $75 bill, it was like $1.15 or something. So for the customer, it's very minimal. For the town, I can tell you we pay roughly $75 a month.
But we don't know if that's some form of a grandfathered in pricing,
Right.
which is why we hesitated to put that on there.
Yeah. And I did reach out for a quote, and I'm supposed to be getting something very soon. But I can't see it being any less than what another conservancy is.
So your best guess right now is that Amston would probably be double the monthly amount for the town than
Yes.
Union. Well, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't just go ahead and switch to that. It sounds like it's gonna be the best for the town, best for the people. Might not save everybody much, $1 or $2 every time they make a payment, but that's still something.
And with it, it's gonna give her time for other stuff that you need her to do. Because some of us young people can go online and go, oh, that's how much our bill is, versus having to call her or come into the building. So she's gonna be able to do other stuff that she needs to get done. Because, and it's gonna save people from bringing their payments up here.
Yeah, that alone is huge.
Just the customer standpoint, yeah.
Well, I guess we probably need somebody to make a motion to accept the Union Link.
No, you can't put one.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Want me to do it? Make it first, I'm gonna know what to do.
Just so you make a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you also make a motion to accept Paystar as the payment for them?
Yes. Yeah.
I make a motion to accept place in order to make.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we're done with the building. Establishing an Amazon account for the town. I know that they bought a few things, toners and inks from Amazon instead of some of the supply houses and saved hundreds of dollars. I don't know. Is there a reason why the town couldn't set up an account?
No reason.
I'll make a motion to set up an Amazon account for the town.
Make a motion.
Second.
Yeah.
You're on a roll, man.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll get that Amazon set up for you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the new business is the Fennel Putnam Bike Race.
That's just to make people aware that on June 20th, it will be coming through Fillmore.
And it's just a one-day event, right?
Yeah, it's just a one-day event.
Is it down Main Street?
They're coming down Main Street and, yeah,
And they don't abide by traffic law.
no.
Can you get them to send us a map, a copy of the map of the route they'll be using so we can post it on the front, or post it on the webpage,
Yeah.
on Facebook page, so everybody will know? All right, that's all the business. Public comments?
I got a question.
All right.
On this thing from the state, do we have to do it?
The zoning?
Yeah.
The way it's pushing, yeah, the way it's pushing, yeah, because I think we're gonna be subject to some kind of fines and because we're not meeting the the only minimum requirements that we're meeting right now to actually be a town is the fire department and the post office. And if we lose either one of them, then from what she explained to me, we can no longer be a town because we meet none of the other requirements. We have no zoning board, no building inspector, no. It's been like 2 months since I talked to her, so I forgot a lot of what she said. We tried to get her to come to the meeting tonight, and she had other engagements, so she put down the time to explain it a little better.
So, from what you're saying, if we don't adopt like what Greencastle's got, then we have to pay them.
From what I understood, there's gonna be some kind of fines or, is that?
You know, they never really said what the or else was, you know, in the letter, but they made it clear that we're required to do that. And, I mean, it's within their own possibility they could sue us to get a court order to require us to do it. And if the town doesn't do it, there could be, you know, contempt and attorney fees and that sort of thing. So that's, so we're according to them, we're out of compliance with state law currently. And they sent us a letter to ask us to get into compliance rather than coming in with guns blazing.
So, if we're gonna have to abide by the same rules as Greencastle and everything, why do we even stay Fillmore?
Well, I don't think it's so much we have to abide by the rules like the zoning part of it. The zoning is still, the classification of zoning from what she described to me is still gonna be up to the town. Like the town will still decide whether this is residential, this is commercial, you know, that part of it. But what they will do if we adopt to the county, they will be able, their building inspector will come and do like the building inspections and stuff to where the town doesn't have to pay for one.
Have you seen the planning and zoning book for Putnam County?
I have not, no.
Because I know in Mooresville, Morgan County done it years ago. Martinsville changed their planning and zoning. They went with, I forget how it all broke down. But they went from this basic to something like this. And you can't do shit.
And I think basically,
And you can't even have certain chemicals under your sink. You know, and they can cause you problems. It's ridiculous. And once you open that can of worms, you can't never put the worms back in.
but I think from what she explained to me, we would be in control of how big the can of worms we would have.
Not if you adopt their rules, you ain't. You're gonna be under their kennel.
Well, and I think from what she explained is we're not taking everything that they're wanting. The main thing that we're gonna be getting out of that is the building inspection, which is what the state is really having a fit about because we don't have a building inspector in this town. And the town can't afford to hire one because they are, specialized and very expensive.
So why can't we just say we'll adopt a building inspector and use their building inspector instead of all of their rules?
I don't think you can they want you to take, they want to take away all the sandwich
You
or
take the
just
whole
part of it.
sandwich and none of the sandwich. If it's got worms on it, you eat the worms too.
But I think right now, if you look through the rest of the county, some of the other towns, Bainbridge and even, not really Cloverdale, some of Roachdale maybe. I mean, you can kind of compare and see what the county the zoning is doing with them. Martinsville, you're talking about, what county is that?
Morgan County.
Morgan County, and then the same with Hendricks County over there, they're a lot more stringent than.
Martinsville wasn't like they were until that planning and zoning changed.
Where did but did it affect some of the other smaller towns like we are?
Zoning, it's not building inspection.
Well, I'm sure it did.
Because some of the stuff, I would say that a lot of the zoning stuff that affects Greencastle wouldn't affect Fillmore, just because of the size of it and the scope of it. But I don't know, we definitely need to look into it a little bit more, but it's coming, whether we join the ship or we get drugged onto it, I think is kind of the point where we're at right now.
We have to have a
Well,
building inspection.
Joining a fight's a little different than fighting against the fight.
You always go in a better line if everybody's rowing in the same direction though.
Yeah,
And
kind
I am
of
a town of Fillmore resident here too.
Absolutely.
So I'm here also for the meeting.
Could you state your name? I forgot that was, everybody knows that, so.
Heather Stabler, I live across the street.
Okay.
So what I'm gathering from this, just listening to you guys, it sounds more like they really just want to make sure that our houses and buildings that we're building here are up to code. And that we're not building a lean-to and living in that. I mean, that's kind of what I'm understanding from this, right? That we're not building a house that's gonna fall down on someone.
Right.
They just want somebody to come in and inspect it to make sure it's a livable and it meets, all the structural codes.
That's what the state's letter is about.
Okay, that's what I'm gathering when you talk about that. And that doesn't sound like such a bad deal when you think about some of the structures that are, can be put up.
And the structure that they're building now, they're talking about building a couple different subdivisions here in town. And I think one of the reasons we have one of the businesses in town we have now with what they're running is because they're getting away with a lot of stuff they're not being held accountable for. Everything from the fire marshal to the.
Could they be held accountable for a lot of things with the ordinances that wasn't done?
To a point, but that's the whole, and then that's another, and I wish Rick was here, because our ordinance enforcer, he had to work today, or he could explain it a little better, because he dug into a little more detail. But there's some gray areas of what we can and can't enforce, because the county building inspector will not come in and inspect some of these buildings, like if we're wanting to condemn a building, the county will not come in to inspect that building. So we can't enforce to hold them to that standard because we don't have nobody to enforce it with, and we can write them an ordinance. But since we don't have, certified building inspector or trained building inspector, it'd be just like a he said, she said kind of thing. So it would give the town some protection on stuff like that, and we wouldn't have somebody coming in here building a bunch of low-income shacks or, substandard buildings, I don't think they would come in without complaints just to come into their, say, I'm gonna come into your house and check it. I think that would be way outside of their jurisdiction. I don't think they could do that.
And I think anything that's already standing, there's nothing they can do. It's grandfathered in, right? So, I think that's the way I read it anyway.
Unless it comes as a problem in like the buildings we had across the street that the front was falling off of and that was actual, needed to be condemned as a public hazard. But again, that's why it took so long to get something done with that, because we didn't have a building inspector or an enforcement division in the town that could come back and be like, hey, this is gonna fall and kill somebody, let's get this fixed. From what I understand. But from what she explained to me, the ultimate final decision will actually be within the town of anything that's inside the city limits. As long as we're complying with state and federal building
So
codes.
just because we adopt their plan, don't mean we have to obey their plan.
Yes, to an extent, yeah.
What's that extent?
I think it's the extent of what is.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay, so that when the
See, there's-
designer comes,
That's,
she'll explain it.
Yeah.
But and again, I'll remind you guys, the public comment is just an ability for someone to make a statement. It's not a back and forth, question and answer period. You guys are free to do that if you want to do that, but the legal requirements are just to let him say what he wants to say.
But I think all the more information we can give them, to everybody make a decision, especially on the zoning, because it's gonna affect everybody in town. And,
you're right.
maybe a little bit, maybe to a lot.
You're gonna attract a whole lot more bees with honey than you will down here.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, I
Yes,
heard a rumor, I hope it's not true, that Liberty Trailers.
Can you state your name and?
Yeah, sorry, Jared Malakovic, 330 North Main Street. Heard a rumor that Liberty Trailers has not paid their water bill in like 8 months. And they owe 15 grand.
It was a problem, it was taken care of, it was addressed, and they have, as of now, they're caught up. They had a meter that wasn't reading, for actually 11 months. But it was brought to their attention and we estimated it back and they did pay it and caught it up. So
Okay. What about the waste from their sandblasting and sand, waste material that they've been dumping?
on that table there's 4 different stacks. 2 of them are reports from IDEM and 2 of them are responses from Liberty.
Okay.
And right now, it's an issue that, that everybody's aware of and they're trying to get it taken care of.
And then I just got a question about, this Union Link and, or Union Link, what is it, Union?
Muni, yeah.
Union, okay. And, is that going to be propane or water, electric, what is that going to be?
Sewer water.
Sewer water?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that gonna lower our bills? Because I heard there was also that we have a minimum charge of $125 a month, no matter what. And there's abandoned houses that are being charged that. What's really going on here? And also, what is, I wrote down the new bill would be something like $75 or $50 or whatever, something like that.
I don't know anything about that, but there is a minimum sewer water bill for the town.
Okay, and what is that? I honestly don't know.
Do you, honestly, I don't know exactly what it is either.
I think it differs, honestly, because some people have water and sewer, and other people just have sewer, so it differs,
Okay.
honestly.
I think there's a minimum, on each, the sewer, the water, and the stormwater. I think there's a minimum on each of those.
And it's right around 120 or 125, right?
Mine's usually the minimum, mine's like 109.
Oh, okay, maybe 107.
Yeah.
And
A little over 100.
And then the effect date of the zoning, what's the potential of that taking effect? If obviously, like, we have to go through some processes.
I don't know that that's really can be done right now.
Yeah.
Because what will have to happen is they'll decide, they'll get more information from the folks in the courthouse. They'll talk about it, think about it, decide whether they're gonna do it or not. If they decide not to do it, then there's never gonna be one. If they decide to do it, then They have to draw maps, so they'll make suggested maps for zoning, and they'll bring it to you all, and you guys will decide how you want it to be, whether you want to change it or not, if you want to change it, how, and go through that process to get everything finalized, so it's really hard to be able to say that. I mean, so, I don't really know.
It's gonna be at least until the next meeting, because hopefully at least it'll be
It's gonna be well after that.
Well, before, yeah, I mean, before we could agree to adopt it, and then it would be fine tuned after that, I would think.
It'll be months in the process.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a personal question, but I'm looking to do some work on my home. Am I going to need, if I start now, in the middle of it, am I going to need to change some things with, codes and certain things that might need to abide by that? I mean, I am a professional carpenter, so I'm not gonna do anything half-assed, but I just want to make sure things are right. And I don't do anything that's going to cost me more money.
And I think, and I'm not really sure, I'm probably speaking out of turn on this, as of right now, you would just have to make sure you meet our current ordinances. And most of those are just mainly covering the water sewer hookups, fees, and
Yeah, and that your property's not so dilapidated that it's a nuisance.
yeah.
No, I hope not.
Yeah.
I would, oh,
You got a nice place down.
Thank you, that's slowly but surely, I work too much.
No more public comments? And then the fund report, I think you guys said that since it's kind of in limbo, it's, we don't really have a fund report. You have adjustments?
I do have adjustments. Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I'll give you is, this is, so the next, next, set of this that you'll see will look totally different. This is the last one that came out of Keystones before we switched to QuickBooks. These are, your registered claims is what we call them. And this is only for the pay checks that we did last month.
Oh,
And so that's what, and then so they'll have all three of you, that's all that's on this one, so that we're current with what you'll see when we get May's financials completed.
It's gonna be two on last month.
Oh, yes, we'll be presenting the May financials as well as
There wasn't three last month, there'll only be two.
Say what?
There wouldn't be three last month, there'll only be two.
Free what? Oh, but this is for today. They're approving that these were spent and they were spent properly. That's what that's about. These
And that's
are,
for the ordinance, the maintenance, the clerk, that's everybody, the whole payroll for the town.
these are the liens. This is just a copy for you guys, or not liens, the, late fees that came out after this billing cycle. So not very many this month, so it's really good. Yep. So this is the adjustment signature page. This is the packet. Obviously, this was our first billing cycle with your accounting, and I had no clue what I'm doing, and the software is definitely not user friendly. So I had to make adjustments, and then I had to make adjustments to my adjustments, and then I had to make adjustments to those adjustments to make them all equal out properly. So there looks like there's a lot here, but it's really just, there's a pool adjustment that you guys approved the last meeting. The late fees you guys told me to take off, just standard stuff that we've talked about, all of them. And I just need a signature right there.
This is Monica's last paycheck. It needs to be signed.
And the paycheck is going out, we just need you to sign the claims form. You signed the check, so. Yeah, just those two. You bet. It's what you're gonna do.
And it's just one.
Yeah, just the one.
our adjustments and our claims, and if we have nothing else, then we'll adjourn the meeting.
Pay the bills.
Here's the meeting. I'm gonna need Stacy and Jeff.